everybody. My name is Anne-Marie Houghtailing, and I am the co-founder of Story Imprinting, a company that teaches great people and great companies the art and science of storytelling. And this is Hat Chats, where I wear one of my fabulous hats and talk to you about whatever is currently on my mind. Today, what's been on my mind is the problem of what I think is toxic feedback. Toxic feedback for me is a way that feedback for me, by the way, should be a free education to excellence. That's what it should do. It should be in service to advance someone. And sometimes, quite frankly, you have to give people really hard, critical feedback. There's no question of that. It's necessary and it's important for growth. The problem that I have seen over the years of doing the work I've done coaching people is feedback can be a tool of punishment. It can be a way we weaponize exclusion, and a way we sort of allow people to sort of give feedback in a way that really erases people and makes them invisible. And I want to drill down a little bit on this. Over the last, more than 10 years working with people, I think there's a difference between giving feedback that is about being invested in one's growth and finding a way to deliver feedback that's really about making people invisible. Telling people, you're a little too loud. You're a little too showy. I've had clients, lots of clients, by the way, be told that they weren't going to ever advance because, their accent was a little thick. I want you to think about not just how horrifically biased that is, which obviously it is, but the fact of the matter is somebody who is speaking English and is not a native speaker means that they have mastered this language, mastered an education, and have been able to function as a professional in a second language indicates extraordinary intelligence and competency, not the opposite. And yet, that becomes a way to punish people. And what I want people to understand and know is all of that feedback is like a little bit of poison that we feed people. It may not kill them, but it makes them very sick. It makes them question their confidence, their competence, and their sense of belonging. It makes them question whether or not they are as capable as they clearly are. My clients are, all of them, extremely educated, competent, and capable people, and have often been the subject of what I consider really abusive feedback that didn't serve them or anyone in any way. And this idea of contorting to a single sort of formula and vision of what it is to be professional is in essence erasing people and making them silent and invisible. And I really want to change that. We do a lot of training and work with executive presence, and what we aren't doing is teaching people how to, make a stronger handshake and, be more like this old modality of executive presence. What we really want to do is challenge the notion of what executive presence is and challenge the notion of what the image of leadership looks like. And I think that when we sort of disarm people and say, oh, no, it can look all kinds of ways and sound all kinds of ways. And this isn't about trying to make it uniform. It's trying to make it more expansive and more dynamic. And that's really what I'm interested in doing. And I'm also interested in helping our clients be empowered to do. How do you manage this kind of critical feedback that is not in service to you? And by the way, it's very complicated. Make no mistake about it. When we challenge feedback, when we negotiate our worth, inevitably we are taxed for that behavior. Inevitably, there is some pushback. And by the way, that's not my opinion. It's not even based on my lived experience of over a decade of coaching people. That's only a portion of it. You can go and do your own research to learn about this and understand the ways in which women and marginalized people are always taxed for trying to exert their own power and place in the world. But what I really want people to do is think about the ways we can change that collectively and individually. When we're giving feedback that is really based on a very narrow idea of leadership, a very narrow idea of what it means to be somebody who is worthy to be in a position. I think it's destructive, and I think it's damaging, and I also think it's wildly invasive in nearly every industry I've ever encountered. And so, in order for any of us to be able to change that, we have to think of the way we're both delivering and receiving feedback, and the way in which we're judging others for how they show up. I think that the fact that I'm wearing bright red lipstick and this, wacky little hat today, in no way impacts my capacity as a professional, in no way changes my intellectual capacity or my ability to be a strategic thinker or negotiate somebody's worth for them or to train them or do any of that. And yet we have made these things sort of part of the entrance, right? Like if you want to be a serious person, you have to wear a uniform and you have to effectively suppress everything about who you are as an individual, your culture, your background, so you are in this sort of neutral zone. I don't think that that's true. And I don't think we're going to get to a place where we have the kind of inclusion and dynamism and integration we need to have the richness of thought and advancement until we really challenge those ideas. So those are my thoughts today. I would love to hear your thoughts, so please drop them in the comments. And I would love your questions or ideas for future Hat Chats. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and thank you so much for following us. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and like button, and if you're feeling really generous, give us a comment. The YouTube algorithms appreciate that, as do we. Thank you very much.